Hello, I'm Jan Sharavinsky and this is Break the Fake. They make them, we break them and tell you all you need to know. Alright, let's dive straight into the cesspool of deceit and duplicity that is the Russian political landscape. Dmitry Medvedev, the man who's been playing musical chairs with the presidency and various deputy roles, recently graced us, if that's the correct word, with a video message straight out of the Kremlin's playbook. In that message, he proudly proclaims that Russia is bravely vanquishing the new fascists on the battlefield and fending off attacks from those who dare rewrite history with malicious lies, tarnishing the reputation of the true heroes. Where to begin with this steaming pile of propaganda? First off, if anyone's an expert in malicious lies, it's the Kremlin PR team. And let's not forget the classic tactic of painting oneself as the valiant defender of truth and justice while conveniently ignoring any inconvenient truths. It's like watching a magician pull a rabbit out of a hat, only instead of a cute little bunny, it's a big fat lie. Or, the rabbit of Cabernog. You dare not confront it if you want to stay in one piece. But hey, who needs facts when you've got a good old-fashioned hero narrative, right? I mean, why bother with pesky things like evidence and reality when you can just spin a tale of noble warriors battling the forces of evil? So, congratulations, Dmitry Medvedev, on your latest foray into the world of fiction. Just remember, the truth has a funny way of catching up with you, no matter how many smokescreens you throw up. Dmitry Peskov, the gift that keeps on giving when it comes to Kremlin doublespeak. According to him, the West's actions, which, let's be real, are about as subtle as a sledgehammer in the china shop, are somehow affecting the delicate nuances of Russia's little special operation in Ukraine. Because, when you're orchestrating a military intervention, you really have to be mindful of those nuances. But fear not, dear viewers, because despite the interference of those meddling Western powers, the goals of the Russian armed forces remain as clear as mud. And the special operation chugs along like a rusty old locomotive. Because why let a little thing like international condemnation get in the way of a good old invasion, right? High-ranking Russian officials are like conductors, Peskov and Medvedev waving their batons while the orchestra screeches away on their violins. And in the role of the failed soloist, we have Solovyov. The orchestra's performance is subpar, but who are they playing for? Solovyov's daily antics are more likely to be watched by fans of the Empire and armchair warriors than anyone else. It is like watching a bad opera while the singers are out of tune and the plot makes no sense whatsoever. But hey, as long as the die-hard fans keep applauding, the show must go on, after all. So here is to another day in the theater of the absurd, where reality is stranger than fiction, and the players are all too eager to play their parts until the bitter end.
Специальная военная операция, я считаю, входит в новую стадию. Заметьте, украинцев уже не хватает. Уже пошла речь о том, что страны НАТО будут поставлять, де-факто свое оружие. Мы сейчас увидим втягивание не только оружия НАТО, но и его операторов. То есть ясно, что сейчас мы де-факто начинаем воевать со странами НАТО. Мы сейчас будем перемалывать и военную машину НАТО, и, извините, так получится, граждан тех стран, которые являются гражданами стран НАТО. Поэтому, когда эта вся операция закончится, НАТО надо будет себя спросить, а нам есть чем защищаться? И нам есть кем защищаться? А пощады не будет. Пощады не будет. Денацифицировать придется, судя по всему, не только Украину. Война с Европой, о которой я говорил, с миром, начинает приобретать уже и вполне конкретные, и вполне... А это значит, нам придется действовать по-другому, гораздо жестче.
I think he actually made a mistake there. It should have been, we're going to be grinding against NATO armies. And he's asking, does NATO have what it takes to defend itself? A couple of F-35s in Russian airspace would be a real pain in the neck, I'm assuming. And I don't think they really want to test it. But hey, you're on Solovyov's show, right? You're supposed to be making a lot of noise, but ultimately signifying nothing. And speaking of international relations resembling a particularly dysfunctional episode of reality TV, let's talk about Tucker Carlson. After cozying up to the Russian leader for a little chat, Carlson had the audacity to call Russian denazification efforts one of the dumbest things he'd ever heard. Well, Dmitry Peskov, the Kremlin mouthpiece, was quick to dismiss Carlson's comments as the ramblings of someone who clearly missed the memo on basic geopolitics. But hey, who needs logic and reason when you've got political posturing and finger-pointing? It's just another day in the wild and wacky world of international diplomacy. Now, who is helping the Ukrainian army the most? Who is sending the most donations to soldiers? The United States? What if I told you that it's Russia? Recently, the governor of the Kemerovo region of Russia, Serhiy Tsivilyev, recorded a video message in which he complained that Ukrainians, posing online as residents of the Kuzbass region, had transferred millions of rubles to the armed forces of Ukraine.
Уважаемые кузбассовцы, нас ежедневно, ежеминутно атакуют украинские спецслужбы. С начала года мошенники вынудили кузбассовцев перевести на счета, с которых оплачиваются дроны и вооружение ВСУ, миллионы рублей. Обманывают всех. Под прицелом самые беззащитные. Наши родители, наши близкие. Мы обязаны это остановить. Каждый из нас должен предупредить в первую очередь родителей, детей, коллег, друзей об опасности. Эти переводы финансируют врага. На предприятиях, в организациях, учреждениях ввожу персональную ответственность руководителей за разъяснительную работу по этому вопросу. Вы лично отвечаете за каждого сотрудника. Главное – предотвратить преступление. Каждый должен помнить. Перевел деньги – помог врагу.
Now, we don't want to laugh here, but maybe the governor should think about some sort of courses which explain that not everyone texting you and asking for money is necessarily Russian. So, Russian soldiers, next time, when a drone hits your position, you can be thankful to your fellow citizens, right? To close out today's episode, we want to show you your favorite, lovely, beautiful Russian babushkas, also known as Putin's Squad. On the 5th of May, Russia will celebrate Easter, so the rhetoric of these grandmas is in full force.
И особенно сегодня, когда в такое время, когда наша страна воюет с Украиной, с Америкой, давайте помолимся и попросим Господа Бога, чтобы все закончилось побыстрее. И россияне все, наши сыны и внуки, пришли домой. Побыстрее. И только Бог спасет.
So, according to the redhead babushka, it seems that only God can help stop this war, allowing Russian soldiers to come back home. But here's the thing. Dear grannies, your sons and grandsons can actually come back at any moment if they don't want to fight. But it's Russians who are coming to Ukraine to steal from occupied territories and earn money for killing Ukrainians. It is you, Russians, who can stop the war. But do you really want to? Now that is a million-ruble question that you need to answer. And with this, we end this episode of Break the Fake. Please stay with us here on TVP World for more latest news and updates.